is almost at an end.
All right, so Stranger Things is back, bigger, badder, and longer than ever. So this is it's been a while since between this and season three. Um, Due to COVID, they even said like they filmed for a little over a year because there was so much going on with this season. Um, and I could definitely see why it took them so long because this was a genuine surprise for me. I do like the show. Season one I think was really really well done. With season two and three, I think they were good, but there were a lot of parts in both seasons where I was like, yeah, this could have done without this. I think they could have focused more on this. They could have not focused more on that. But with this, I think it was the best season since the first one. So this takes place a um, um, a little bit after the events of season three, um, where basically the Byers and 11 have now moved to California to basically start a new life. Um, Everybody else is still in Hawkins, um, trying to kind of deal with a lot of things, but the main this season is mainly focused on Max, who was introduced in season two, who again was one of the issues for me for the past couple of seasons because the way she was introduced in season two, I was like, they could have done it a bit better. It felt like she was very shoehorned in and very much like start was there to start the love triangle between it was Dustin and Lucas. Um, and then with season three, it was like okay, got a little better, but still, I'm like, I don't really care. Um, so this season, it was all focused on her. Um, so she's not only dealing with the death of her brother, who you haven't seen season three. It happens. His death happens in there, but she is also dealing with her own problems. She ended up dumping Lucas and basically shutting out the world. So now there is a new villain who is basically like their version of Freddy Krueger in a way. And I couldn't help but notice a lot of similarities between this character, whose name is Vecna, which is another Dungeons and Dragons thing, much like season one's the Demogorgon, which I like how they do that. Um, it's very much like the end of season one was kind of them saying like, okay, here's this monster from Dungeons and Dragons. Now we can. It's basically the villains or the monsters from Dungeons and Dragons. It's like an entire like box. They can basically pull monsters out and see if they can make it fit into the show, which I really liked. I really like how they do that. Um, but Vecna's motives is basically five sacrifices, but every time when he attaches himself to someone, they hear the chimes of a grandfather clock, which I'm just gonna say, um, I have a family member that has a grandfather clock, and I was visiting them for a little bit while I was kind of slowly watching this season. And every 15 minutes, I would hear the chimes of the grandfather clock, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna pay attention to that. Um, so it was a bit, nerve wracking to say the least. But if he succeeds, then it'll basically be the end. Which not going to spoil it, but season 5, which they've already said they're in the writing phase, is going to be the last season. So this very much was like the beginning of the end. So after watching this season, I'm very much looking forward to what they do with season 5. They have said that season 5 is not going to be as long as this, which, you know, which I like. I was a bit hesitant to the way I watched this. Was I kind of did one a day, and then it slowly graduated to 2 a day. But I was doing the 2 a day because it was like an hour, and then when it slowly started getting into an hour and 15, then an hour and a half, and then the finale was 2.5. I'm just like, I can't like do all this in one go. So you can basically binge this, but it is the longest out of all seasons. It's the same episode length as season 2, which was 9 episodes. This is also 9, but yeah, the episodes are way longer. So yeah. I would say if you're going to binge this, I would definitely recommend go into the bathroom before, and you probably want to go during. So be prepared. That's all I'm going to say. So, but this season I liked. It, like I said, it was this I think was the best season since the first one. So, and I definitely think that the Max as a character was written a lot better. There were generally moments like I still was kind of going like okay, but it was, you know, some of the things that happens, I was definitely going like, oh, okay, like this is not good. And especially since, you know, some of the cast and you know, the Duffer brothers who created the show they were going like, be prepared for someone to die. And I definitely think the person they killed off, you know, I definitely see why they did, but because they were written for this season, but I liked them a bit too much, and I'm like, I could have seen some others die in there, but they didn't. And in fact, the original intent was to kill off that character that I mentioned. Not going to say who, because then I want to keep this spoiler free. But they were attempting to kill off Max as well, because this season, or basically seasons 2 through 4, was basically all about her. You know, 2 was her coming into the group. 3, it was all about her brother, and then 4, it was all about her. So it was very much a lead up into something happen, and something does happen, and it's a bit like, oh, well, that sucks. That looked painful. So yeah, like I said, if I definitely liked this season since the first one. This was, I think, the most violent out of all the seasons. Even the Duffer brothers said that the finale of the season had the most special effects of any episode of any other episode in the show, which is a bit crazy. So that's been impressive. But yeah, I also liked how they basically put Running Up That Hill back on the charts, and also Master of Puppets. If you've seen the season, you know why. But yeah, I definitely liked this season. I liked it a lot. It was the best since season 1, and it gets great. Yeah, I'm can't wait to see how this is going to end, and you know, from the punches that they pulled on this season, I'm expecting, season 5, get a lot of tissues ready, because, a lot of your favorite characters may not live. So just be prepared. And yeah, this was a lot of fun.